This moment is so bittersweet because we got a verdict for George Floyd, but then we're also now having to bury Daunte Wright.
An historic verdict.
It's almost like the rewind button has been hit on us again.
Followed by another funeral of a young black man shot by the police.
This guilty verdict is not enough. It won't be enough until we create laws and policies that reflect brown and black people in the city of Minneapolis.
So what happens next?
The way the people of Minneapolis felt after they heard the verdict of George Floyd was elated. And black people and people of color here felt human, and we felt seen.
Jalila is a pastor who's counseled people experiencing trauma since the death of George Floyd last year.
Just to see the dancing and the Black Lives Matter signs waving and people shouting hooray, people shouting justice, and it's about time. It really felt amazing.
Oh my God, we can breathe. We can finally breathe.
Exhale.
Yes.
We've been waiting to
We've been waiting a long time.
To hear that he was guilty on all three of the charges, it just seemed like a dream.
This is an important turning point that a white cop was convicted for killing a black man.
The verdict means that our sons and our daughters can now go outside with just a little relief and feel comfortable playing and not being judged by the color of their skin.
Find the defendant guilty. Day of April 2021 at 1:44 p.m.
I'm just happy that this happened because I have two boys who are black. This tragic turn of events had to happen for something to change, because something has to change. It's enough. It's enough. It's enough.
But only a day after the verdict, funeral proceedings for 20-year-old Daunte Wright began.
We just celebrated the news of an excellent verdict for Black lives, and now we're preparing for another funeral of another black life snatched.
Daunte was killed by a police officer who said she mistakenly drew her gun instead of a taser. She's been charged with second-degree manslaughter.
Yesterday was a bit of relief, but today, the start of a new day. It's like these young men and women out here is dealing with pain on top of pain.
When I seen that young man, I seen my own baby. And, and I just, it could have been my own son. And, we're tired of it. We're tired of it.
For many in Minneapolis, what may seem like the end of a long journey for racial justice only marks the beginning of a new chapter.
The start of things being held accountable, police being held accountable for their action, the things that they out here doing. That's what that is. It's the start of accountability and responsibility.
We need to keep the conversation going. We need to really talk about police reform.
So for world leaders, for Minnesota leaders, senators, representatives, our mayors, please, we need our policies changed, because without these policies being changed, we're just waiting every single day to see another black man being killed.
A federal investigation has been launched into policing practices in Minneapolis, and President Biden is pushing for sweeping reform nationally.
In order to deliver real change and reform, we can and we must do more to reduce the likelihood that tragedies like this will ever happen and occur again.
Critics say that reforms go too far, that police officers do a difficult and dangerous job and need protection. But for Jalila, policing is only part of the problem.
The verdict needs to be the start of racial equity with housing in the city of Minneapolis. The verdict needs to be the start of racial equality with jobs and pay the way African Americans and black people are paid here in the state. The trauma that we are experiencing in this city right now, we will be experiencing for the next 10 years. It takes a whole decade to get past trauma, and so we have to now help this community heal.